So for people out there who don't know who you are and don't have a clue what it takes to produce a podcast, teach us a bit about like what actually goes into making it all happen and why it interests you.
Okay, so what's involved and why I stick around?
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say that there's a fair amount of work that you do, Jake, yourself. You do the research, you find these people, you have a bit of a chat with them, you sweet talk them a little bit, you get them into the...
So, what's your name?
And, the little email either side of that and whatnot. So I'm not saying it's all down to myself and Michael, but in terms of my work, I get the raw podcast episode, cleaning up, making sure there's nothing egregious in there, cutting out all your swearing, Jake.
Don't cut it out.
And really putting care and effort into it. Sometimes people's microphones are really horrible. People's microphones have that S that's just such a sharp, powerful S. You have to get in there. You have to edit that S out. And I really pride myself on ease of listening because that's what I appreciate. And I think the listeners appreciate that as well. So on top of that, there's also the marketing clips that I put together. I think it's the most fun part of the job. And I'd love it if people really jumped on those because I see it as like, there's the episode with the full information, the full content, all of the value. And then there's these clips that are kind of like little teasers, little bits of entertainment that have value in them as well. That's a whole other side of editing. That's video editing, which is, quite a learning curve. Quite an expertise in itself. Not that I have any expertise in it, but I'd like to one day. And so why I like sticking around is down to the content, I would say. I'm deep diving on all of these episodes. I feel like I'm really soaking in all of this information. I mean, don't test me right now, but
you would be. You'd be learning a massive amount. Yeah.
Yeah. Easily over 100 podcasts edited by now, probably 150.
Which is also some of the other work you've done for other people.
Correct.
Yeah, because I probably just ticked over. Well, with Bitcoin with Jake and some of the other projects I've been involved, I'm probably about 150 podcasts now.
Yeah,
something like that. Gosh, wow! I mean, Pat, basically no one's listened to me more. So thank you. Perhaps you could just teach people some of the different tools that you're using to actually do it. So the recording software I use is Riverside. Once I've clicked record, I share a link with Pat. Where does it then go? What are some of the high-level brands or something you could mention that get used in order to produce what we do?
Yeah, sure. So this is for a podcast that's fairly well equipped, I would say. I know what I'm doing in these tools. If I was to pick up as a beginner this tool called Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, oh my God, I'd be so overwhelmed. Like the tutorials to do the most basic things would probably be 10 minutes. So I wouldn't say that's for everybody, but Premiere Pro is where I do the actual audio editing. Or, sometimes the guest says, hey, I want to take out that mention of such and such, someone's name or a place of business.
Company or something, yeah.
Or even...
a child's name or a place, yeah.
Yeah, or even some sort of hiccup. Like sometimes there's a Wi-Fi outage or like once your power dropped out.
Yeah.
And so I had to like cut out the bits where... I think it was JP was talking to himself, and then you came back, but it was a bit frozen.
It was Chris Pavlesic. Yeah. My Wi-Fi died, and I was about 55 minutes in. We were almost finished, but it's like cliffhanger.
So there's all sorts of things that come up that you could do yourself, Jake, but that's come down to be my job. And another tool that I use, which people might want to look into if they're interested in podcasting, is called Descript. And essentially it creates a transcript of the whole conversation. And so you can read through the podcast. And as you're reading, you can backspace words, you can move things around, and it will edit the video at the same time. It's also got an audio waveform, so you can find any bits that need to be cut out and things like that.
Yeah, Descript's pretty cool, and that's why when you reference obviously that you're not just watching and listening, you're also reading because you're literally editing like a GDoc as you go through Descript. Yeah, it's really cool, Pat, and something that obviously this podcast is about investing as like a wider subject, and how you can invest into, like we've already discussed, your health. So dopamine is the one topic we've really looked into, but also, financial returns and all the different areas I've talked about before. But one of the things I was very keen on as we went into this was that I am setting this business up myself. I'm the sole founder and shareholder, and I'm also willing to invest into it to build a team. And I enjoy the research process. I'm always listening to people, improving my own knowledge. I'm like, they would be a great podcast guest. Let's try and get them on. And I've got a huge database of names already with 400 potential episodes that I haven't yet done. It won't be that many, but it's like I just every day I'm adding people to that list. And what I found that I didn't enjoy doing was basically what you and Michael helped me out with, which is like, once it's recorded, there's then this whole palaver of like, chopping bits out and improving the quality of it, getting it ready to actually publish. Then you've got to publish on all these different platforms. You've got to have the show notes together. There's lots of stuff to get done. But the investment to me was very clear. It's like, you'd helped me so much with Bitcoin with Jake, and also helped produce the Bitcoin Advisor podcast and the Bitcoin Mentor podcast. It was like, right, Pat's a shoo-in. I would love you to come and help me out. And when I met Michael as part of Bitcoin Mentor, he was already working on the What is Money show and was really sharp on like the more commercial side of it, perhaps, like how do we actually grow this thing? I was like, okay, cool. That'd be a really interesting person to have involved too. But inevitably, as a new thing, we've had to get to know each other, and it takes time. But your video short forms, for example, like I can see them improving. And so you could go out there and you could like hire a video agency, and you could say like, here's my long and I get contacted by people trying to syndicate content all the time.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah. But it's actually, to me, it's much better to make an investment in someone like yourself to build the skill set working with me to then grow this thing super long term. And I'm trying to think of like, multi-year processes. And I hope that's come through from like a working with me perspective. But just for those out there listening, like obviously I look at making investments all the time. And for me, this is like the business side of things I'm investing into. And we're not making any revenue whatsoever. We're not even trying to. The first and foremost focus is a high quality podcast, which I don't think I could do on my own. And that's why I'm doing it.